famous quote that says, as long as you are healthy, you have
Mhm.
1,000 problems. But once you fall sick, you have only one
One
problem.
problem.
That's absolutely. Tell me, how was your year 2025?
To be very transparent, honest, it is of course an year of transformation, and I felt some great changes in my overall mindset, personality, and everything.
Spending too much time on my phone, watching a lot of reels, that I definitely want to change. I want to shift that reels addiction to reading books. That's what I'm intending to do. And every time I open my phone, I think I'm going to order some books and I'm going to start my reading journey again. But it doesn't happen again. Instagram, you get different kind of reels. People. I met another guy who was on the verge of becoming a monk but came back to spend time with his mother. She was ailing and she wanted to be with.
You just start feeling like, okay, things are not working in the way it should be. Then you just have to make everything new. You cannot wait for the right time. You just make it the right time. You just have to make it the right time, right? 2026. What's there on your mind? Do you have something, at least one thing that you can share that I really want to have this or that in 2026?
Something I cannot forget. I cannot forget that conversation.
Of course, there are some heartfelt or heart to heart conversations that stays with us for a prolonged period.
Mm.
So even I remember my conversations 3 years back, 5 years ago, I had with my students. And sometimes they come and ask, ma'am, how can you just keep all that intact in your memory? It's still unacceptable because you suppose when you are close to some people and they leave you, it takes time to process, right?
You keep creating content because there is so much more that you can share with your knowledge. You can enrich other people's lives. So keep creating content for your audience and for people.
Good afternoon, Shanta.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I have been good, great, and seeing you after really long. I hope you remember our first session means your first session with me.
Yes, I do. I think we spoke about managing personal professional life, finding a balance, work life balance. Yes, if I'm right.
Absolutely. And in my point of view, it was one of my best sessions, best
Oh,
conversation. Yes. So, and it
wow.
was my first few conversations.
Yes. I
So,
think you were just starting out on YouTube.
yes, with conversations. Yeah. So,
Yes, with
first of all, I
conversations.
wholeheartedly welcome you here on my channel, English with Rini. And I congratulate you for this new setup. I'm seeing it for the first time. Last time it wasn't there. So it looks perfect with your, and it suits your personality. And Shanta, not just that, I am waiting to listen to your wonderful words, have a good productive discussion, and I would like to have a good discussion about this entire year. So the theme that I have chosen for this session is we can see, let's have a quick flashback of this year, 2025. How was 2025 for you? So would you like to introduce yourself in short?
Yes, sure. Why not? Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, as you know, my name is Shanta. I am from Karnataka by qualification. I am a software engineer. By passion, I'm a YouTuber. I'm also TEFL certified. I've also worked as a spoken English trainer, but as of now, I'm just doing YouTube and I'm managing my home. So, that's pretty much about me. If there's anything else you would like to know, feel free to ask.
All right. So, of course, I would like to know more about you, your year, how this year treated you. And before we turn the page, right? Because 2026 is right around the corner. And I would like to understand how this year treated you. All right.
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
Yes. Um, mhm. Do you want
yes.
to ask specific questions or you want me to just
Yes,
go
of
ahead?
course, of course. So, first of all, Shanta, here we proceed with our very first question. That is, if you look back and if you revisit the journey of this year, 2025, How would you define this year in short?
I think every year is you have a roller coaster of emotions every year, right? Because an year is like 12 months, 365 days. So I don't think you can define it in a particular way. But 2025 has been quite fulfilling. There were a lot of ups and downs as well in my personal life, which is always there with everyone. So that was also happening with me. There was issues with my health, but all in all, it was pretty rewarding, fulfilling. I am filled with gratitude for whatever is happening. I'm still healthy. I can do most of the things by myself. When you look at other people and you notice the kind of difficulties, struggles they are having with life, I feel blessed, and it was indeed a good year, not bad, average. And my kids are healthy, they are thriving, they're going to school, and they're doing well in their academics.
Hmm.
I'm working, and everything is pretty fine. So it
Hmm.
was pretty nice year for me. Yeah. What about you? How was your year?
As you mentioned, like a roller coaster, so the year has been a roller coaster for me as well. And if I talk about this year as a creator, it is rewarding, not in terms of monetary values, but in terms of love and appreciation and the breakthrough that I have received. And if I talk about the other part, the other side of this year, of course, means it was tragic on the other hand, because 2025, Shanta, if you remember, we came across many such incidents, such heart wrenching and heartbreaking incidents that took place this year. Keeping that aside, even in my family, also, I lost my grandfather. So this year was quite an year that we wanted to pass quickly. And so, yeah, we are waiting for 2026. But overall, it went well, and it is great. It was a good year like that. So still we
Good to
have
know.
few more days. Let's see how it unfolds.
Yes. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I really appreciate how you came forward with the gratitude part, right? Although you faced some health challenges, some other issues, as it is a part of our life, but you still came up with gratitude and you are grateful for it. So I would like to ask, could you just talk about one defining moment or anything that was really the highlight of this year that gave you a turning point, maybe as a person, as a creator, something that made a good shift in your perspective?
In terms of personal life, or do you want me to quote something related to my career in YouTube?
Both, both. It can be anything. Yeah.
Okay. The first quarter of the year, I was sick. I was recovering from
Hmm.
typhoid and dengue. It was pretty severe. I was in the hospital like last year end. So Jan, Feb, March was mostly about recovering from it. I was not interested in doing a lot of stuff. I was not interested in creating content. When you're sick and then you're recovering, you end up feeling that maybe I will never recover when it's so slow. So what is going to happen? You are not very sure, you're skeptical. When am I going to be totally all right? You're looking at other people and you're thinking that they are roaming, they are having a fun time, they are having a time of their lives, they're enjoying. When will you be able to do all of that? So you are waiting for that, and at times at such, you, even when you have a small fever, when you're in the bed, you are not able to do something, that is really helplessness for you, and you're waiting to bounce back and feel normal, like normal people, normal yourself. You want to feel you. For maybe 5 6 months I was not feeling like myself, but then after slowly, when I recovered, when I completely became normal according to me, I was able to like roam about freely and not feeling fatigued. I was pretty okay. So then I started feeling, we don't value when we are really healthy. We don't value our health when we are healthy. We do not value anything when we, as long as we have it. But once we lose it, we start noticing the emptiness. We start noticing how important it was. So we should have that. So that is why whenever I am healthy, every single day, I was like, I'm filled with gratitude.
Hmm.
So this year has gone mainly in appreciating what I have with me, around me, inside of me. So that was a defining moment for me to focus more on my fitness, to focus on more on my life, enjoy life as much as you can because you are able to. So I
Hmm.
think I would like to quote that.
Amazing. Because what you mentioned, that we hardly value what we have, and we just realize its importance once it's lost. It's highly relatable, right?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
Shanta, as you mentioned that you are completely into YouTube, right? So, and initially you were unable to create content as well for first few months of this year, right? Maybe because of your health reasons, or maybe you were unable to feel yourself, right? So, was did it stress you up at any point?
Yes, it did because it was my passion to create content. But I was not so sick that I couldn't have a session. I
Hmm.
had to force myself. Maybe I didn't have the interest. When you're sick and you're helpless, you feel depressed, isn't it? You do when you can't do things, you feel depressed. So that depression was getting into me, and I was like, I didn't want to have a session. I didn't want to work. Anyways, I've taken a break. It's been 1.5 months. I haven't posted anything. So it's okay, let it continue. So it happens after a break, it
Hmm.
requires a lot of courage for you to bounce back and start again creating. So I started creating slowly, maybe weekly once I used to post. Then I did every alternate day. So that's how I started. And every session was difficult for me, sitting for 25-30 minutes and talking to a person. That was difficult because I was out of the habit by then already and I was fatigued. So to and fro, I didn't know like next day, I'm going to have this much energy or no. So I couldn't schedule a session. So that was also a difficulty. But yes, I slowly bounced back, took it slowly and started.
Hmm.
But what was the question? Sorry.
Yes,
Your
yes,
question was, did I?
yes. The question itself said that was it difficult for you? Did it stress you up because you were
Yes.
unable to create it like that?
It did, yeah. I think I already answered the question. It did stress me up, but not to an extent where I was stressed so much about YouTube or creating content. It was not that. The stress was I want to get back to normal. I want to feel like making things, making content. I want to feel like doing something. Interest. I want that interest in myself. So that was missing. So, yeah, that part I was stressed, but not the part where I'm not creating content. What will happen? So I was not
Hmm.
stressed about that.
Okay. And there comes another question because sometimes it may happen with me. So far, I haven't faced it. But was this lack of interest due to health conditions? Or was it just because it became monotonous because you have been doing it for long and then you were like, okay, I need some change, I need break, and it's little bit a kind of humdrum. So what was that due to health reasons or due to monotony?
Purely due to health reasons.
Hmm.
It's not at all monotonous for me. Even now, I'm excited to have it every session. So I don't feel bored or it's I've been doing it for so long. I don't want to do it. It's never that. I'm still excited to have my sessions. So it was purely because of my health conditions. I didn't have the patience to get back, to get ready, sit and talk to a person. So I was
Hmm.
not able to do that.
My goodness, just this is making me realize how important our health is, right? And how people take it for granted, including me, sometimes you, because you have got this lesson. Of course, you might have started valuing it more, far more than what you might have done in the previous years. But Shanta, there's nothing more than having a healthy body and a healthy, we can say, of course, soul is we can just purify it, our thoughts and other things. But body,
Yes.
we can do so, and we should,
This,
right?
yes, there's a famous quote that says, as long as you are healthy, you have
Hmm.
1,000 problems. But once you fall sick, you have only one
One
problem.
problem.
That's absolutely true. Once you're sick, you have only one problem, your health. You have to get back. You have to become normal. You have to become healthy. That is your only problem. You do not think about anything else. You do not think about uh, anything of the world going out or making money. You don't think about all of that. It's just that I have to become healthy like others. When you look at
Hmm.
people, you feel sad. I want to be like them. I want to be able to do all of that. I want to be carefree, roam, have all the energy to do everything. So that is the only problem you will have once you're sick.
Relatable. Yes, absolutely. And Shanta, other than that, if I talk about, although you talked about your health conditions, was there any other moment? Because this year came with a fair share of its of struggles as well. So, did you come across any struggle other than your health issues?
Not majorly no, I wouldn't say a major struggle. It had been pretty smooth for me the year. I cannot recollect of something and say that this was a struggle for me, because this struggle is a very heavy word, right? So I will not associate any of my problems with struggling.
Hmm.
Health, yes, because I was sick, I was in bed rest, and I was struggling to
Hmm.
wake up and do the normal chores. So that was a struggle. But other than that, there are small hiccups. I wouldn't call them struggles. No.
Absolutely. See, the heart phase was related to your health, and you overcame it really well. You bounced back, and you are grateful for it.
That's it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, if we talk about you as as a creator journey, your creator journey, and although you have been doing it for long, but if you look back and have a quick flashback of this year, do you remember any collaboration, any such thing that you felt was highly rewarding, or you found it a privilege for you that you had this year?
I have been collaborating with Sparky so for a very long time now.
And did you meet any common man, any commoner, just random conversation, and somehow that person unintentionally taught you something? I know
Mm.
I should have asked some easier questions. This needs a lot of time to think and go back, right?
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, it's just coming on spot. Yeah,
It requires time to think
think
about this,
of
because you're
such
talking about a person that I will have to go through whom all I spoke
everything.
to
Yes,
understand that. But last year, if you would have asked me that question, I had a couple of subscribers whom I spoke to, and they were quite memorable for me. But this year is a bit tough for me, because I wouldn't say it was not, I did not find anybody inspiring. But of course, there are people where you learn something or the other from people every time you talk to them. But nothing of that sort that stays in my memory that, wow, this inspired me. That happened last year. But this year, nothing is coming into my mind as of now. I'm sorry.
okay, no problem. You can share from your last year as well, no problem. If you
Yes,
can
last year,
recollect.
yes, last year I met even aged people who were 70 plus, and looking at their passion for learning English, and they are alive, if you understand what I mean. They are alive, they want to do things, they are still excited, they still have the fire in them. But now I see people even of my age, we do not have that much of fire left in us. We already feel drained out and exhausted. So they inspire me a lot. Even they feel that, they have that feeling, I have to do this for my grandchildren. So can you imagine? We
My
That was very
goodness.
inspiring for me, because after 70, you don't have the patience, you don't have the energy, physical and mental, to do anything. That is what I think. But according to them, it is, they are happy, they want to learn, they want to do things for their grandchildren, because they don't want their grandchildren to think that my grandfather or mother, they don't know English, they can't talk, and they are not able to talk to me because they live abroad. I have to learn their language now to talk to them. So I met such aged people, and I met another guy who was on the verge of becoming a monk but came back to spend time with his mother. She was ailing and she wanted to be with him, so he joined the police and he was working in the police. Then he it was his plan. He's going to be there as long as his mother is there, because she wants to be with him. So once she's not there, he's going to go back and become a monk. So he shared all of his journey from the time when he started feeling this spiritual connection, how he went about it, and he was just having his life, ordinary spiritual life, whom he met, who inspired him, what happened, all of that he shared. So that is something I cannot forget. I cannot forget that conversation.
Of course, there are some heartfelt or heart-to-heart conversations that stays with us for a prolonged period.
Mm.
So even I remember my conversations 3 years back, 5 years ago, I had with my students. And sometimes they come and ask, "Ma'am, how can you just keep all that intact in your memory?" I said, it's just about what makes long lasting impression. So there are some things that really leave long lasting impression on you, and you don't have to pressurize yourself to recall or recollect, remember all of it, right? So that's how it happens. Now, Shanta, there is another thing. Now, as you enter this, the new year, 2026, what's there on your mind? Do you have something, at least one thing that you can share that I really want to have this or that in 2026?
In 2026, I am focusing on creating better content, um, on focusing more on my health and fitness. So these are two things always on my list, and 2026 especially, because I'm feeling that I have to work more on these areas. So I'll be doing that. But again, it's not for me. It is not that new year has come and that's why you have to focus. Like every day is new for me. I can wake up and think like from tomorrow I'm going to do this. So when people say resolutions, new year is just a timestamp to keep that track of your progress. I've started this and at this time, and then you can notice your progress. For that, you just have a timestamp. But for me, every day is new. So it's been like a month or two that I'm focusing more on my health. And very recently, I started feeling that, I have to do better for my channel. So I'm not finding a lot of progress on it. So I'm working on that as well. So these are the two areas.
All right. And as you talked about New Year just being the timestamp, right? Of course it is. And when you are a creator, Shanta, this is something, see, I am a budding content creator, right? But what the things I have realized, it's not about New Year. As you mentioned, it's about a new day. And when you just start feeling like, okay, things are not working in the way it should be, then you just have to make everything new. You cannot wait for the right time. You just make it the right time. You just have to make it the right time, right? And it happens for creators. Really, it happens. If the progress isn't as per the expectation, then you have to shift your ways, your approach, and everything. You cannot wait.
True that. Yes.
Yes.
Especially this is your work, right? You cannot wait for New Year to work better. So it
Hmm.
has to
True
happen
that.
when it has to.
Absolutely. All right. And now, one last question. And after that, you can ask whatever you want. Okay. So, what's that one belief or one habit or maybe a kind of trepidation or fear that you just want to leave back in 2025 and you don't want to carry it to next year? You
Fear,
want to
fear
dump
of
right here.
right. The fear of falling sick, because every small thing happens, I'm scared. Okay, okay, I'm going to fall sick, I'm going to be in bed, who's going to take care of my kids? Again, my husband is going to do solo parenting, how is he going to do that? So it is thoughts, the I have a like rush of thoughts any moment that I feel a little bit sick. So I want to leave that fear now. I want to make myself healthier, because when you are healthier you bounce back faster. So I think that one fear I want to live, and there are a lot of other fears which are going to go with me as long as I'm there. But when it comes to this year, I would say the fear of falling sick.
And what about the habit?
Habit, yes, habit. uh Spending too much time on my phone, watching a lot of reels, that I definitely want to change. I want to shift that reels addiction to reading books. That's what I'm intending to do. And every time I open my phone, I think I'm going to order some books and I'm going to start my reading journey again. But it doesn't happen. Again, Instagram, you get different kind of reels, people who have bought those books, that leads to one after the other. It's not happening, but that is one habit I really want to ditch.
Okay. So, and you just get trapped in that loop of watching, right? Okay.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So, more or less, I'm done with the questions. Now it's your turn. If you have something
Yeah.
on your mind, you can ask.
I didn't have anything exactly on my mind, but since you asked me, you tell me, how was your year 2025?
To be very transparent, honest, it is, of course, a peaceful year, an year of transformation. And I felt some great changes in my overall mindset, personality, and everything, personal and professional life, both. And I met some amazing people, Shanta. And those people made me realize what else, the scope I have with me, the powerhouse, right? Till that time, till that point, I was maybe not unaware, but I was ignorant. And somehow you get to meet some people and they become your guiding light. So I started my meditation journey intensely this year. So this is one point. I came up with this YouTube thing, and it was smooth. It went well. I got to see some hope here, right? Earlier, I was just creating postings. That's all, nothing much. But then I came to see some growth, some opportunities, some good things, meeting great people only through this platform, right? Personally, also, it has been a wonderful year, family life, everything, more or less a peaceful year. But yes, if I talk about this year, it's a transformation kind of year. I can say there is a huge transformation of mindset, everything. And I am highly grateful for it. Other than that, the share, the hard part that I talked about was losing your close ones, right? And it's still unacceptable because you suppose when you are close to some people and they leave you, it takes time to process, right? And these were few incidents. We somehow lost our guru as well, right, last month. And overall, it was a wonderful year. I am a travel enthusiast. I took a good trip this year. So again, this is also a good part, not to forget. And I'm grateful for everything, good health, and whatever I got this year. So this is an year of transformation. Right.
Wow, wonderful to know that. Yes.
Yes.
And I think you have a session coming up. We are running out of time.
Yes. Yes. So Shanta, is there any message you would like to give me and our audience before we wrap up this session?
To you, keep creating content, because there is so much more that you can share with your knowledge. You can enrich other people's lives. So keep creating content for your audience. And for people, I think don't lose hope. Keep trying. So that's it.
Oh, lovely. Yes, so Shanta, these words of yours, it will always help me, boost me to keep creating content, even when it feels hard. while we
Yes.
doing that. Thank you for this wonderful piece of advice. And I hope we'll be meeting soon in future. Maybe now next year we'll be meeting.
Yes. We'll meet again next year.
Right.
We'll connect again. Thank you for having and inviting me and having me over. You have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Anta. Have a great day. Thanks a lot.